Good evening and welcome to episode 27 for Podcast for Dads. My name's Bhav and I'm with the main man Jay. How you doing, bro?
I'm all good, man. I'm all good. How are you?
Mate, good.
What's the week saying, bro?
Obviously had little man's birthday on Tuesday.
This is it. Topic of the week. Little man's first birthday, man. Do you know what? When we think of first birthdays, like it's always been such a huge thing, innit? A
100%.
huge thing. Yeah. And I've always had this thought in my head, like, I wonder whether it's worth doing a bigger birthday at an age where they've got more memory of it or able to do things so that they can actually benefit and experience it, or whether it's just a blowout for the parents after the first year to be like, we made it.
But a bit of both, right? It's like you look at it and we look back and, you're like, even before he was born, you'd be like, all right, cool, when it comes to his first, because obviously, look, he was born in lockdown, so no one really got to see him. Not everyone's, even year one, not everyone family-wise and stuff have seen him yet. So we thought our first birthday, all of this will clear up. We'll be able to have a nice big celebration, get everyone together, have a decent turnout, not going crazy, but at the same time, everyone will get to see him properly and, we'll have a bit of fun, etc. Unfortunately, 12 months on in that same situation.
It's crazy to think that, right? You would have never thought when he was first born that even at this point in life that so little people would have met him or he would have interacted with so little people.
Correct.
And obviously that leads on to the next point, right? Which is, what sort of an impact has that even made?
Bro, I'll be honest, like I asked myself that question, like how is he going to be with other people, adults, children, etc., as he goes along? And look, not saying he hasn't seen people throughout, people have, now more and more things are opening up so people can come in the garden or a couple of households can mix, etc. So he has seen a few more people, but his first initial reaction is, have I seen you before? Whether it's on FaceTime or, whatever, have I seen you? Do you look familiar to me? And if there's too many people, like if a few people come together.
Yeah, I want to know about that. Like, what's it like when he's got a lot of people around him? Because obviously he's not really used to that or seen that kind of thing in his lifespan, right? So
no, so even when like
anxious, or
well, that's the thing, because even when his parents and family will come over, or if we've been there, initially he's taken back by it, because even though he sees them every single day on FaceTime, he's like, hold up, everyone's together. Where do I go? Who does my attention go to? And gets thrown back by it. As time goes on, it gets
so
better.
Like when they first come in, though, yeah. When they first come in the house, what's that interaction like? Like, because with Jaden,
they want to go straight to him, right? Because obviously, look, their grandson, right? They haven't got to spend the time they really wanted to spend with him. So for them, it's like, oh, let's go to him. But for him, it's like, hold up, like, just take a step back.
Yeah.
Well, he knows, because he knows who they are, because he sees them every single day on FaceTime without fail. But when they're in person, everyone wants to come to him together. So he's like, hold up, whoa, like, who am I going to? Where am I going? And he gets taken back by it. And obviously, well, he's been a bit unwell. He's had teething and so on, and all those things play a part to say, well, have you napped it off? Are you sleep? Have you slept? Gets thrown back, and he's like, oh, where do I go now? But as time goes on, he gets better. I just want to know what the next 6 months holds. Now things are opening up. He'll be able to see a lot more people. Hopefully, he gets into a nursery soon. That's where you get the key to say, oh, hold up, how is his interaction going to be? And I'm hoping, he's not shy at home by any stretch of the imagination. So when he's out in public and he's out with people, etc., in nursery, different surroundings, actually he's quite confident, gets on with it, and just bees himself. But it's honestly, mate,
do you have any flashbacks of nursery? Do you ever have like anything that you remember from that age?
Bro, come on, man. I don't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. You can take me back like 30 odd years. Like, no way, mate. It's
seriously.
I can't. I can remember primary school, bits of it, but not as back. Not as well. Can you remember that far back?
I've got like two vague memories, because I know I went to two different nurseries, right?
Okay.
One of them, I remember being a very young child, and at that time, like your kiddies ride on that you kind of sit on and stare, and they had like a little, oval shape thing that you just run around, and literally like, I remember being on one of those. That was one of the early morning things. And then the other nursery, I just remember being picked up and going home.
But honestly, it's going to be interesting, and obviously, a lot has changed as well in terms of nurseries, schools, etc. in those times. So when they go to nursery, it's different to what we had.
Yeah, man. Like
When we
their
were
whole
growing up.
day, their interaction, what they do, everything is completely different. Do you know what I mean?
They do meal preps inside, like different types of food every day. Loads of things to like play with and stuff like. And they go on trips and stuff as well at that age. And I'm like, well, that's like taking it a bit far here. Do you know what I mean? I didn't even know this will happen. Like we've been to one nursery to check it out.
Yeah.
But he sat there, he just started playing with the toys, and he was cool.
But what
with
did
it.
you find when you walked into a nursery? Did you feel like, oh my god, I feel slightly out of my depth?
I just felt taken back by how it was a very, very large nursery. Like it had like 3-4 different rooms. But also it was quite interesting to see, all those different toys for interaction, all the different elements of, how they go from stage to stage.
The different levels of mindfulness and sensory teaching and so forth.
And you're like, they take a lot of like pride and care, and they've got a curriculum and everything, and you think, wow, they're actually taking this quite seriously. I thought it was just going to be a little place for him to go play for a few hours, see some.
Well,
of
the thing is, like, we say that, yeah, but you think like Vanisha and Bhavika, so my sister and first cousin, like obviously they're working in a nursery, right? And I remember like when Vanisha, before she moved out and got married, like, she had a bulk load of work that she would have to do, and not, just to keep up with what the kids are doing and things like that. And that's work that she has to do outside of work hours because she just didn't get to do that time in the day. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I actually spoke to her last week and was asking her so many questions.
What to look out for. So what was her advice?
And if she is listening, I'm still waiting for her message with a list of questions she was going to send over to me. But as you know, your sister can be a bit slow, so we'll have
probably
to
get those once he's graduating nursery.
Well, yeah, that's my point, right? But no, she made a few good valid points. What to ask, and just bits, of the usual ones. The Ofsted ratings, and how many staff are agency staff, and who changes nappies, etc. And all those kind of things to kind of know actually what happens inside the nursery. But she said there's a long list, so when she sends it over, I'll go through it and actually.
It's even like you got to think like what sort of food are they giving over, and like vegetarian diet and so forth, and whatever you're sticking to. So there's a lot to take in for a parent, man.
Honestly, like you guys have found somewhere, right?
Yeah, we have. Like, we're quite fortunate that there is a nursery just down the road from us, and literally, it's going to be me that does the morning drop-ups and possibly some of the lunchtime pickups. But the evening pickups will either be Reshmore, mum and dad kind of thing.
Yeah.
But literally, like 2-3 minute walk, and we're there.
You can't go wrong, honestly. The thing is, there are a couple of nurseries quite local to us, so we do want to go. Like, I'm walking distance as well. We do want to go see them. But honestly, if anyone has any tips or any questions that we should ask, then please do let us know. Pankaj, thank you for the wishes to Kaylan. I will pass them on to him, and he will definitely say thank you. He's learning how to say all these different words now. He's picking up quite a bit. He likes the bye-bye. He waves and goes bye-bye. See you later, go home, or let me go sleep.
Have you taught him how to spud yet?
Bro, daily. I'm trying this daily. I'm not succeeding at the moment.
No. So basically, in the last 24 to 48 hours, Jaden's learned how to clap. So he's sitting there every now and again. We're just like, come on, you can do it. We're sitting there clapping, going, look, like this. And then it's your turn. You do it. Once or twice he's done it, yeah. Not all. Obviously, he's still trying to learn the concept of my turn, your turn. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, there's little stages of advancement. And even like my mum and dad noticed it the other day, dad was like, oh, look, like he's learning to support himself in terms of his balance. And like if he's rocking backwards, he'll lean forward to kind of balance himself out and keep himself upright. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
Well, Kaylan in the last week learned to stand up from anywhere now. Before it was let me go and stand up holding something and then walk. Now it's like, let me just stand wherever I am. Wherever I am, I'm going to stand up.
Yeah.
And like literally just get up, walk around, doesn't stop walking now, just hardly wants to crawl. It's all about the walking.
So right now, I'm going to put you on the spot here. I apologize for this in advance. Like when you changed his nappy, what was it like? Because obviously he's no longer just sat in one place. He's all crawling, he's all moving. And
to be honest, right, when he knows it's nappy change time, 99% of the time he will lay still as long as you give him something to kind of play around with or hold, etc. So whether it's the wipes or any little toy that I could find at the time, like, yeah, just hold this. But we've now had to, before we'll change him living room or his bedroom, etc. Now we just bring him up and change him in his room. Yeah. Because if it's in the living room, I had an incident.
Gets to know, innit?
Well, I had an incident a couple of weeks back because it was just me.
Priya had?
No, it was just me, right? And I thought, I'll be all right, man. I just changed his nappy here.
Yeah.
And I opened his nappy and I literally turned, not even away from me. I just literally turned like this, picked up the nappy and the wipes, and he was gone. I was like, mate, come back, man, please. Just come back. So I'm running after him, pick him up, bring him back. Luckily, nothing
he ran off naked.
Not like it was just half off because he wears the pants, right? So he literally, so I literally pulled half of it, like one side, and he was gone. I was like, no, come back, Hayden. Like, we need to change your nappy. From that day, I was like, I'm going to your room. I'll change it in there because in that environment that it's either getting ready for bed or I'm just changing my nappy. So he's a lot more calm. And
do you prefer the pull-ups or the actual like nappies?
No, definitely pull-ups, man. It makes life a lot easier. And I think he finds it a lot more comfortable to kind of walk around.
The one point that I would agree on the pull-ups, one thing I like is that they don't give as much pressure on the child's stomach. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously when we tighten it, we can over-tighten it. It's simple and easy to do, right?
Correct. 100%. No, sure, it's so much easier. But yeah, honestly, it's a challenge. But if you catch him at the right time and he knows, okay, time to change my nappy, you'll be all right. They're doing it for me to get comfortable again, fine. But sometimes, it can be good fun to chase around after him. But obviously, Jaden's had a bit of a cold. Saw a couple of posts go out. Obviously, been messaging us. Yeah, man. What happened? How did it come about?
So obviously he's been teething for a while. It must be getting a little bit worse because he's complaining about it a bit more. He's been a bit more vocal, and he makes this noise like dead. And I'm taking Kaylan to be like, let's call him Dad. So,
take it.
Yeah, all day. But no, like you can see the poor guy's in pain. Do you know what I mean? And the cold has developed. It started off with a runny nose. Progressed into runny nose and a bit of a cough, and then it lasted over 3 days. We obviously the first couple of days we gave him Calpol and rode it out kind of thing, and then we phoned the doctors on Monday and they were like, okay, we'll give him like Calpol till the end of the day, and then that's like the 3-day limit or something where they recommend it, right? So then they were like, make him do a COVID test, and I was like, what? You want us to do a COVID test on him? Reshma obviously had spoken to the doctor and sorted it all out, so we had to do that. And you've tried to clean Kaylan's nose, right? It's an issue, isn't it? Because they don't like anything going near their nose, right?
Hard work.
Yeah, so he's all like, obviously when he's bunged up, it's hard to get his boogers out and stuff like that as it is. He doesn't want to get anyone let him near him. So when we're doing this COVID test, restaurants are all like, oh, should we do it when he's asleep or should we do it when he's not so like, cranky and that? And then she kept forgetting to do it. And she was like, but I need to do it today. So she was just like, after he woke up from a nap, she was like, right, you hold him. So I kind of like held him facing forward and then like held his arms down. And then mum kind of like kept him straight forward. And then she was like digging this thing up his nose. And it's disgusting, man. Like, and obviously he's just not having it at all, innit? But it's one of the experiences that you've got to go through. Home tests.
No, but in the last 12 months, have you had to do a COVID test?
Yeah, we've done like the like same day thing just before we go in on a job kind of thing, but not one where I'll send it off.
But you know how disgusting they are, right, to do as adults.
Well, you've got to stick it all the way back, and like obviously they say for the child that you've got to either try and do the nostril and the tonsil or both nostrils.
Okay.
And obviously there's no way he was going to let us put that thing in his mouth. Yeah. So we had to do both nostrils. And obviously the first one has gone in. He's already started bawling and like, everything's going downhill. But we got it done. And like, I'm just sitting waiting on the result now. Do you know what I mean? I doubt anything's going to come from it. But
yeah, honestly,
it's a teething cold. Do you know what I mean? Like the guy's teething. But the fact like that you have to now do a COVID test if he's got a cold because he's teething, well, it's going to happen every 3 weeks now, every 3-4 weeks. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not. Yeah, I don't think I can put him through that. Like I had to do one right right at the start, and I'll be honest, it was probably the worst experience I've had. And I was like, how do you even?
Did you find your gag reflex?
Honestly, I'm never going to go into it, right? Because people watching do not want to know about it. But it is not a good experience whatsoever. And anyone out there that has tried it or had to do it, they will understand. Like, it is probably the worst thing to do. And for a baby to have to go through, you're trying to do that to them. And I'll be honest, my biggest fear is, you're doing it to someone else. So at what point do you know where to stop as well?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Viharika. Thank you for the birthday wishes, Viharika. But Viharika, I'm not saying in terms of pain and those kind of things.
I'm just talking about as a fatherly experience, watching your child go through that trauma is like, it's hurting.
And for me, it's just like, why is this even the way of testing people, man? There must be a better way to kind of find out if somebody's got COVID, right? Like, it was just a strange experience. But yeah, like, where do you stop? You put it into their nostril. It's quite a dangerous thing to try to do anyway, right? So at what point do you stop? I'm just like, I just hope I don't have to do that for him. But they also say, a lot of people have said it, as soon as your child goes to nursery, that's when
it's going to happen weekly.
Well, there you go, right? So it's a bit like, well, what happens then? Like, are they trying to get nursery kids? And if anyone's kids are at nursery, are they asking their parents to test their kids?
Yeah. If they show up with signs and symptoms, bro, the first thing they do is get them sent home and go and do a test. You're not allowed to go back before you do another test. I was speaking to a friend of mine. His daughter wasn't feeling too well at school. The school sent her home, and they said
how old?
She's 5-6 years old.
Okay.
Essentially, the school sent her home, and they told my friend, you basically got to get her COVID tested, and we need to receive the results. It normally takes 48 hours. The sad thing is, the next day was their school photos. Do you know what I mean? So she they put them in a position where she was going to miss the school photos. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, for a kid at that age, it's like one of the things you look forward to. Do you know what I mean? Everyone else in the playgrounds at one point is going to get all their pictures. You don't want to be a kid that missed it, right?
No, 100%.
And do you know what? Fortunately enough, whatever happened, by some miracle, they got the result the same day. Like, he went straight, got the test done, set it off or whatnot, and then their result got emailed back that night. And so they were able to ring the school the next morning and say, look, we've had the result in. It's come back negative. Can she still come and get a photo done? But it's crazy, bro, just to think.
They probably had to pay for that privilege as well, right?
I'm not sure, but obviously you've got to be on the safe side of things, because it's not just about the one kid, it's about the other kid. Do you know what I mean?
No,
all the other kids around them, and then the parents and so forth. The knock-on effect is immense, but obviously subjecting the child to that sort of experience is not something that, as a first-time parent, is easy to watch and endure.
No, honestly, we look back, it's been a crazy year. This time we were having a conversation at home. This time last year, we just come home. We had building works going on at home, so builders was just finishing up. Yep. He was just in one room. No one could come see him. It was just us in the house.
Okay, so as we've gone into this area of conversation as well, and this show is to talk about Kaylan's first birthday, but let's talk about the 12 months of Kaylan. Do you know what I mean? Give me a glimpse into your memories and some experiences. Tell me something that you remember from the first month.
So, for us, this is where we kind of look back at pictures, because we did a birthday card for him. So we looked at pictures from day one till now, and we managed to pick quite a few pictures. Yep. And it brings back memories when you look at them, and you're like, oh, this is what he was like in the first month. But I look back, and during his first month, the main thing I remember was he could lie on my chest and look me straight in the eye with his head up. And I was like, whoa, that's some serious neck strength already. You're strong, right? If you can look up at me, but he was just like a little kid looking up at you, and you just for that kind of like baby at that
because
age.
at that age, like obviously their bones aren't really formed. They're very pliable, and they don't form properly, I think, until the age of about 3. So at that age, they're very pliable, they're very maneuverable, and they're a little bit elasticy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So obviously, like, you have to be careful with holding them, etc. But he was literally just like, I was lying back, he was lying on my just looking at me, and I was like, well, you're going to be able to like hold your neck up quite well and start getting. And literally from that day, he didn't really love tummy time, but he would do it. He wouldn't have an issue with it, and it actually built his like strength up so much that he was able to maneuver and move around and roll over, and within that second month, I think he was rolling over, in his cot, and I was like, well, this is not
really
like this
in
is
his
not.
cot.
Yeah, well, I'm like, well, this is not like the
No.
best thing, because you're like you also got to be careful that he's not rolling over in his sleep. But he was able to turn himself, not like constantly, but he did it a couple of times. And you're like, well, okay, let's just keep you nice and still, nice and straight while you sleep. When you're awake, you could kind of move around as much as you want.
It makes you thankful that they're in the same room for that time period as well, wouldn't it?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Otherwise, you just sit there glued to the monitor. Like, there's nights now where I'll have gone downstairs and chilled out, had some like late night snack, and then I'll come back up, or Reshma will text me and go like, "Oh, I can't sleep. He's awake," or like he's asleep, or whatever. And she's like, "I've just been staring at the monitor." Do you know what I mean?
We don't like year on now. We don't stare at the monitor. I think Priya did it for a couple of nights when he first moved into his own room, and now it's just like you hear him, so you don't even need to look at it now. You hear him if he wakes up. He's straight up on his feet.
Does he kick his legs down on the thing?
On the bed?
Yeah, like when he wakes up or when he's like coming to.
He stands up. Yeah. If he wakes up, he's just standing straight up and jumping on his bed, and he's just jumping up and down.
So, okay, like before we jump that far ahead, then month 2, something significant.
Like I said, rolling, being able to roll over in his bed.
Yeah. Month 3?
Month 3. Oh.
Okay, let's change the question around. What's the one thing within the first 6 months that's most memorable to you?
My first 6 months, quite a few things actually. It's got to be being able to crawl.
Yeah,
he was pretty active within 6 months, and I thought he would probably be walking by like month 7 or 8, but he wasn't that far off it, to be honest. By his first birthday, he's able to run, so I've got to give him credit for a very, very good year of being
active.
Yeah, it definitely loves it. Doesn't want to stay seated for too long. He's now got into this stage where he likes the TV being on, into his programs, etc., into his channels, and listening to all these baby nursery rhymes. But he won't sit there and watch it. He'll be playing and doing whatever else. But as soon as you press pause or you stop it, his face will turn straight to the TV, and he's like, well, what's going on here? Why have you turned it off? And he'll look around to see who's got the remote. And 99% of the time, that's me playing around with the remote and trying to change the channel, but it's not happening. But yeah, he's got to that stage where he looks and he knows that it's on in the background.
Does he look at you to change the channel into one of his shows?
Oh no, he'll just bring me the remote control, but he brings it to my mom because he knows that she'll do it for him. Yeah, he knows. If I go to daddy, she'll do it. If I go to my dad's going to tell me, no, it's not happening. I'm watching something, or no, you can't have it. But he knows where he needs to go, and he needs which remote he needs to go with. So he's picked that up very well. That's
one of the first few things that they get intrigued by in it, is like the remote control, because they always see it being passed around. It's always in your hands. Like even Jaden, like one thing that I've realized is he'll always look for the remote, or like if the remote's around, he'll always be one of the first few things he'll snap his eyes onto.
Yeah, but like he comes up first thing in the morning. Priya brings him up while she's getting ready in the morning. She'll put him on the bed with me, and the first thing he goes for is the remote control. Points it at the TV and tries to turn it on, and I'm like, and then this morning I said, no, look, you don't need it. It's not going on. So he went and turned around and went to climb off the bed, because he knows how to get off the bed now, right? He turns around, slides straight off.
If you're not going to give it to me, I'm off.
Well, he could, yeah, if you're not going to give it, I'm just going to go roam around the floor. And he was halfway off the bed. And I said, Kaylan, I'll put on Dave and Ava. You should have seen that upper body strength. Literally pulled himself back up onto the bed. And he sat down next to me. And he's like, here's the remote, put it on for me. And I was like, wow.
Did you see that trend that's going on where you play the beginning of Coco Melon and like the intro bit? Where it's like, ding, 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 shoo.
I saw your video of it.
Yeah, that thing. Bro,
yeah.
If you want to laugh, yeah, it's sad. I know I shouldn't be saying if you want to laugh, but it's entertaining as well, yeah. Literally, just play the first few seconds of that and watch their heads just go like mad and crazy. It's jokes.
Yeah, anything he knows, as soon as he hears it, he's like his eyes light up.
Jaden is glued. Like I think Reshma put it up the other day, and he likes Tipping Point and the chase. That he loves the chase. Like before the show.
What's the fascination of Tipping Point? Like, is it just the things?
I don't know. I think
down?
It's just like the music and the background volume and all of that stuff. But literally, like before the show, we was downstairs. He was watching the chase, and bruv, like the guy is hooked. Literally, like during the break, couldn't care less. But when it's playing and the players have got their thing going on, bro, my man's like, whatever way his body is facing, his head is at the screen.
But as long as he's learning those questions, we'll be all right. Right? He's getting those answers in his brain ready. That's it.
Let's hope so. Let's hope his brain training in it.
But like, honestly, I can't wait now, like for his second birthday, because I'm like, at least I can try and do something, you know. And actually,
so
you know what?
When you were looking for all of his gifts, because I know we had this conversation a few weeks ago, you were like, I'm not 100% sure where to go, right?
Yeah.
So where did you go?
So everything I pretty much mentioned last week or the week before, we ended up purchasing most of those things. So we've got him a few small things more than anything else, and one kind of big item. We bought him a trike, because we think it would just be good for him to get out and about, and rather than having to take the pram all the time, he can just go in that and, you know, and it folds up and it goes in the car, so it's perfect. Nice. We brought in those babooties, so they're like socks with like soles on them.
Yeah, I still need to see a picture of these things. Right?
Yeah, they look like these baby eaters. Baby, honestly, the best thing ever. I'll send you the link. Honestly, you'd love them. They look so cool on it.
Obviously, people are going to ask now that you mentioned it.
No, so baby eaters are £22 for most colours, and then they've got this new special edition one or limited edition one with they're black frames with blue lenses, and they're £38. Okay. So they're not kind of silly money, and they're really good quality.
Give this gift to your child, be like, you best not break this or put it in your mouth, bro.
No, but he likes glasses. Because obviously,
they've all got a fascination with glasses, bro. Every time I put my head near Jaden, bro, his hands are stuck behind their lens. Like,
so he knows what they are. He's seen them on a lot of people. So we've put them on him, and they also come with like a little string as well, with a little kind of elastic, so you can put it around his ears and stuff, right? So, but I think he should be okay with them. Waiting for the sun to come out before he gets them on. The babooties,
today was the day, bro.
Yeah, but you know what it is? He's not 100% yet, because he also came down with a little kind of sniffle, so he's not 100%. So I didn't want to take him outside. So hopefully in the next couple of days it wears off and we could take him out and have him on. The babooties, I'll be honest, they're like they look like baby Balenciagas, basically. They're like black with white soles. Okay. But he finds them so comfortable, and he likes walking around in them. And it's actually good for their feet.
Don't even like putting his shoes and socks on, bro. He's a barefoot baby.
Yeah. Socks, pulls them off. Shoes, tries to eat them.
Jaden's got to that stage now, bro, where literally, like, you know, that day when you came around and Kaylan was just like pulling at his sock and bosh.
Yeah.
Like, Jaden's got to that stage. He's pulling on them. He hasn't quite figured out to get all the way off just yet. He's not straight.
Once set off, he'll keep taking them off.
Bro, he'll be there.
Yeah. He'll keep taking them off. So yeah, that was the other, and then what else did we? I think that was it. And then I think Prayer's probably going to send a message saying, "No, you forgot something." But I think that was it. I don't think we went. You know, we decorated the room for him, got balloons and all the rest of it. Spent 3 hours doing a balloon arch. So I'm taking orders now for anyone that needs balloon arches done. We're experts. We'll come round. We'll get it done quickly.
Put your orders in the comments section.
Yeah, that's it. Put them in. But we're not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. But we talk about the price. But honestly, it was so low. But it's worth it because he came down and he was just confused. Yeah. He's like, what is going on? What are all these kind of boxes of gifts and what are all these?
What's my birthday?
Well, that's if mum and dad got him one of those sit on cars.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get him to sit on it today and just trying to go around with it. And he's got to move your legs, right? And he was like, no, this is long, man. Can someone just push me? So we're pushing him along and he's happy with it. And as soon as we said, like, Kaylan, your turn now. And he just climbed straight off and he gone again. I'm like, no, he's not doing it. So I want to try and get him into that motion. Say, all right, sit on it, ride it along. But I think, as soon as I'll be honest, and when you get to Jada's birthday, you could come back and say if I'm right or wrong. But I just feel at this age, they're not like 100% too interested in the toys you get them. I think when it comes to their second birthday, I think there'll be a lot on different for me anyway. By Christmas, I think he'll be a lot more intrigued. He was happy to open all the wrapping paper, but he was more interested in the wrapping paper and the boxes rather than the actual gifts.
So Reshma's got this beef at the moment because she's like, I want to buy him toys and I want to spoil him or do something, but whenever I buy him something, he doesn't bloody play with it. The guy's too small, man. He doesn't get it just yet.
And that's the thing is like at the same time, it's like we wanted to take him to the zoo on his birthday. Yeah. Obviously, he went too well, so we're like, look, we don't want to risk anything. We don't want him to get even more ill and not enjoy it. So we said, look, we'll take him in a couple of weeks, whether hopefully gets better, and we'll be able to go. And everyone I spoke to was like, yeah, but he's none the wiser if it's his birthday or not, so it doesn't make a difference kind of thing. And I was like, yeah, that's true, but it's his birthday. That's why we wanted to take him. But I think it's that parents, in my opinion, make more of a fuss of their kid's first birthday than the kids.
It is. You want to feel like you've done something special or something different for it. Do you know what I mean? But this brings me up to my next question, actually. So if we weren't in the position that we're in, right, and you could have thrown a party or whatever it is, how far would you have gone? Like, let's go back to pre-COVID. You think in your mind, like we're talking back, if we were having a conversation in Mexico, and we're talking like kid's first birthday, we were planning it, what would it look like?
I'll be honest, right? I'm not a fan of having like I've always said that I don't really want to be spending grands on my kid's first birthday and have it like a wedding reception, right? People do that, but I don't mind, each their own. You enjoy it, you want to do it.
You don't mind attending and taking.
I'll be there, no problem. So I've not got nothing against it. I've just said I didn't really want to do that for my kid because one, I think they would just be overwhelmed by the amount of people, and actually it just turns into a rave for adults at the expense of a kid's first birthday. And normally it's in the evening, nighttime. Kid's gonna go to bed, right?
I thought the saying is any excuse, bro.
Say that again.
I thought the saying is any excuse.
Yeah, well, 100%. The excuse is there, right? You're gonna do
not anymore, innit? It's got to be within reason now, innit?
But then you look. But then I was like, but COVID came along, right? So I was like, hold on, nothing's happened in the first year. He hasn't been able to interact with it. He hasn't seen anyone. He hasn't had that kind of, everyone being around him, and he hasn't had that.
So if anything, what it's going to do is cause stress and anxiety.
Yeah, but then on the flip side of it, I was like, well, actually, it's a very good excuse for everyone. And if you'd said to me 12 months ago, do you want to do so? I probably would have said, you know what? I've been saying it for the last 6-7 months as well. Like, actually, if we can, we throw not a massive, huge 150, 200 people party, but close family, close friends, which probably ends up being 100 people anyway.
This is it.
But I would throw something, whether it's, in a restaurant or whether it's at a small hall or something, and just get everyone together, even if it's not, like a late night, even if it's just an afternoon stretch, 5, 6, or whatever it might be, where, everyone can have a nice little get together. One is a interaction of his birthday, but also from the year we had, it's a blowout, right? Everyone gets to have that kind of, oh, thank God it's over, we're all together, let's celebrate kind of thing as well. Now
I
I'm
mean,
like,
I'm still
oh,
planning to do something like that, but the fact is now I think to myself, is it even a wise idea? Because it's just going to cause him stress. Do you know what I mean? Because
well,
he's not
that
used to being in that environment, that amount of people, whatever it is, then like loud music, noise, so many different things. Like, as I say,
well,
my cousin Visha got married last week, and we went by there to say hello, and literally he stressed himself out even before he went in the door, and that was it. When we went through the door, he was just upset and in tears. So, do I even want to put him in that environment?
but do you feel him going to nursery will help him by the
One
time he
hundred
gets
percent.
to his first
Like
birthday?
what I've noticed. So like we went to Reshma's mum's at the weekend, and my brother-in-law's children were there as well, and they didn't come until the Sunday. But what we figured is that if he was in the environment first and he became comfortable, and somebody else came into that environment as young children, they were okay. He was cool. With adults, it's a different story. Like even when we walked in the door at Reshma's mum and dad's, before we walked in, I said to Reshma, and this is like I never thought I'd ever say that, but I said to Reshma, just go in and say to your mum and dad, like give him a couple of minutes to settle down before you come and approach him, because that's the last thing you want to say to like your in-laws, you know what I mean, or like even your parents or whatever. Like,
No.
give him a few minutes to settle down
But
before you go and say hello.
it's their grandkid, right? It's like they haven't even got
Yeah,
to spend that time with him, and then you're going in as the bad
yeah.
guy in your own eyes, not even in theirs, it's your eyes. You're like, oh, hold
This
up,
is
like
it.
stay at that kind of step back from the kid. Wait,
I know.
without
When I
telling
said
him.
it to her, I kind of sweated in one side. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I don't know if I'm just trodden over the mark here
But
or not.
you're doing it because you've experienced it, right? You've seen
Yeah,
that two
but do
weeks
you know
ago.
what?
Oh, it didn't.
Like literally, it worked. They gave him a couple of minutes. He had a look around. They saw him like he saw them walking in and out of the room, and then as they went towards him, like he kind of like put the face on where you think he's gonna cry at that, and then it kind of went away. Like he did like give a little like, and I was like, no, you're cool. This is Nanny and Nana. Like you see them every day, like you said, FaceTime every day. So and within a couple of minutes he was cool,
Oh,
and he worked.
I've learned something about Kaylan now. I might be totally off the mark, but I'm hoping I'm right.
Prayer,
He
call him out if
does,
he's wrong. Yeah,
yeah. Well, I hope she doesn't, but I think she'll agree with me. He doesn't like being like held, right? He's not one of those babies that wants to be held by people. He doesn't like.
yeah,
He wants to be
he's
left to
happy
his
to do his
own,
thing in it. Yeah,
right? Especially when he's at home. So if somebody comes around, he's happy that he don't mind them being in the house. He don't mind
yeah,
them, if they come next to him and start building little brick, the little the blocks, building blocks, starts building them with him, or gets the ball, starts rolling it to him, stuff like that. He won't mind. He will actually
yeah,
interact with you and play. As soon as you go up to him and try and pick him up and say, "Oh, Kaylin, come here," that's it. He's gone. He's like, I don't like. Even with us, if we go and try and pick him up during the day for no reason,
yeah.
he just wriggles out of our arms and he's like, no, let me play, kind of thing, right? And we just want
I
to be
must
like,
be
oh,
really lucky then, because that day when you guys were here, he literally sat in my arms for like 3-4 minutes.
no, that's what. But he wasn't in his own environment. He's not in his own element. He's out of his kind of comfort zone. And actually, when he came to us, he was quite happy to play with all those toys that were there,
Yeah,
because he
he
was
was
like,
chill.
oh, I might have these toys at home, but these are someone else's. Let me play and let me just have a bit of fun here. And he was fine. But it's so strange where you assess it more now, when actually before I was a parent I wouldn't even think about these things, and I don't even know if COVID hadn't happened whether I'd still have the same thought process for when these things happen. So it's really
Mm.
strange how it's changed a lot of our thought processes. It's changed a lot for everyone, and it's just interesting how you analyze how they act and behave and how they behaved over the last 12 months. And it's going to be an interesting next 12 months, because now he'll be going to nursery. Things will open up as of the 21st of June, so they say, and he'll be able to go to big events like weddings and parties and those kind of events. You're like, whoa, you ready for this? Like, this is the next
Yeah.
chapter for us. And as it goes on, obviously, we'll let everyone know, we'll have these conversations. But it's going to be honestly an interesting next 12 months. So I'm looking forward to it.
Do you know what the thing is that we don't really talk about, Bhav? Is in the future, our kids are going to watch this stuff back, or they will have the ability to watch this stuff back without our knowledge or whatever it might be. Yeah? So, like it could be a blessing and a curse.
No, he'll be like, "Is this what you did? Is this what I was
You
like?"
did that to me. You did this to me. Are you taking it?
Yeah. Or he's gonna be like,
you guys spoke about all of that stuff and you aired it.
yeah,
I'm thinking now I can't get away from it. What have you done?
well, that's it, right? Or he's gonna thank us for it when he grows up.
Yeah, this is it. Let's
One
hope
or
it's
the
the
other.
latter, isn't it?
We'll find out soon enough, because let me tell you, they know how to work YouTube already. So when they can get onto YouTube and Facebook and start, going through our phone and be like, all right, let me just watch this video. And it will say Kaylan's first birthday. He'll be like, oh, this is interesting. This is me. Let me look at what this was all about.
And little does he know he's not making a guest appearance tonight.
Nah,
he's gone to
sleep, man. He's
he's
tired. He's going for his phase, right? One nap. So he's gone from these 2 to 1 now.
Right. Okay.
And it's really sporadic timings, trying to just get hold of it all to kind of say, all right, these are the times he's randomly all, this morning, I think he woke up at probably about 7, half 7, took a nap about 10:30-ish, and then woke up about 1:30, and then didn't want to sleep all the way through. Whereas sometimes.
So do you guys, with his routine in the day, do you guys get him to eat with you guys?
So it all depends on when he naps and what time. So lunchtime, generally he'll start before us, but we'll probably all end up eating around him, and while he's there, so we'll have lunch.
Yeah.
Dinner time, we'll try and have dinner together, but obviously it takes a lot longer to eat, and then it depends on timings. Like today, he had dinner early, we had lunch quite late, so we're going to have dinner later on, and he's already gone to sleep. But we're trying to get to a routine where we can at least have, we're used to it. Dinner's always been as a family all together. So we're trying to get to that stage, and hopefully we can get there in a few months. So that would be good for him as well. But then he should be eating on his own and does most of it himself now anyway. So hopefully he should be okay. How about you guys? Are you doing it already, or trying to train up for it?
We were trying to feed him and then eat separately, but it just doesn't seem to pan out in timing. Like most days we seem to be eating at the same time, and poor Reshma will take the brunt of it most of the time and like feed him and eat herself. Eat cold. Yeah. So
that's the thing. We try and do it, and it's like, it's difficult, but sometimes, and when he gets older, he'll be able to eat himself. So I won't worry too much about it. Are you coming down with something as well, Jay, out here? Do you need to go and get
hay fever?
Test? Oh, I see.
Today's the first day where like hay fevers, the pollen count's a bit higher. Yeah. Obviously, I've been out and about. We were filming like Epping Forest area today, so it's been slaughter, really.
So are you guys planning anything for Jaden's first birthday? Because you don't have long to go.
Mate, I've got plenty of time, man.
Before then,
all I've got to worry about right now is getting through the next week.
But honestly, if you're going to do something, start the planning.
Well, we're quite fortunate because of the fact that we've got a big garden, so like we'll just bang a marquee up. The worst that I've got to do is sort out some drink and sort out some food. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Yeah, that's a good idea. Actually, you could do a little marquee party.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
That's
always been the plan, because obviously, like my mum and dad, they both turned 60 during this whole like lockdown series. Like dad was 60 last year, mum was 60 this year, and obviously we haven't been able to celebrate that. So, like this Jaden's arrival, and like you say, by the time we are able to get back together and have some sort of a gathering, he'll be about a year old anyway. So. Who knows, man? At the moment, I just don't think you can plan it. Do you know what I mean? With all the difference in data coming through and so forth, it's just hard to create something that can be stuck to. Like, we're seeing it with weddings, bro. Like, in the next week, like, at the beginning of the week, next week was looking pretty, like, smooth and light to me, yeah? Like, in terms of it worked in my favor because the time was on my side. And now, I'm filming on Saturday. I'm filming on Bank Holiday Monday. I'm filming on Wednesday, Thursday, and the Sunday.
Whoa!
Do you know what I mean? So it's fun. But it is nice to be at the
But
house.
you've had a quiet 12 months, right, in terms of the filming side of it. It's not been the
I took
busiest.
on less of a responsibility in the filming side of the business. Yeah. That being said, actually, one thing that I do want to talk about is a project that my business partner Kev handled. And mate, it got publicised on the BBC website today or yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's a video that our production house cut together. Project that we're involved in through Amir Khan Foundation and a couple of other entities. And a gentleman called Irvin contacted Kev to be the person that directed the show. And they put together this video. It's a music video with entertainment in it. When I say entertainment, like actors and dancing, which was there to promote and support a cause. For the life of me, it slipped my mind at the moment. I believe it was something to do with deaf and hearing. But I will post the video out in the comment section once we finish the show. So anyone that would like to have a look will get that opportunity. But yeah, man, like shout out to the team at Cardboard, man. Super proud.
Oh, that's good, man. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, man, it's nice to get recognition to even see anything that we produce within our team going out on a platform like the BBC. It's great. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. But look on that side of it as well. So at least it's getting busy.
Yeah, man. Last week we had a project with Raj and Ragatip where there was a theatre that we hired, or they hired. We were there with musicians. A lot of people that follow us might know Shri Gadvi. So he was there as well as a number of other very talented musicians on the day. And a fantastic day. And I'm sure within the next month, you guys will get to see all of that.
Mate, looking forward to it. What's the plans for the coming week, apart from obviously the busy schedule of work?
On the days that I'm not out, I'll probably do half day work, half day sit with Jaden. Do you know what I mean? Even my plans.
Because the weather's looking quite decent coming up. So
I know, mate. So work hard, play hard mentality.
That's
right
it.
Here, man.
That's it. Get him out in the sun. Get Audrey's baby haters so you can wear them as well.
Russian's got him a couple of pairs anyway, but I know I'm not 100% sure on the start of them. But like I said, it's difficult to find like shade for kids.
Yeah, because they that's what I mean. That's why I looked at these and they were they're literally a perfect fit. So you're like, wow, they actually look really cool on them because I've seen some in like shops and stuff, and then they look massive on their head, and I'm like, no, this doesn't suit him, right? So you want something that looks good for them. So they've got like the 0 to 2 years, so they're quite decent size as well, which is good for the upcoming summer.
Yeah, definitely, man. With the weather changing, it's hard not to buy them new clothes either. Like we went shopping yesterday, and obviously in Tesco's, as you do, you have a quick look around and see if there's anything worth it. And then I think we bought him some trousers, and I was looking like these little vest tops and things like that. And in the end, she was just like, I don't know if I like that one. And I was like, oh, I'm not buying it then.
No, I'm trying to stay away from that, man. It's a dangerous game. But I was looking, honestly, for the last couple of weeks, like I said, I was looking for presents and stuff. And I kept going online and I kept looking at clothes and trainers. And I was like, you know what? Just take a step back. Let him get to the age where he's a bit older.
I'm not going to lie, bro. Like, every payday, I'll go on to like JD Sports or Nike.com and see if there's any offers on like the baby clothes or like infant clothing.
Nike got 30% off, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it. Use code SUMMER21, yeah? Hello?
Yeah, you could just sit there purchasing everything.
No, trust me, man. We spend too much time, too much money, and not making enough. So,
always the case.
Yeah. And now that we've got his nursery fees to take into consideration, I have to be double careful with what I'm spending.
Yeah. Oh, mate, it's expensive.
Yeah. Like, how many days are you guys thinking of putting Kaylan in for?
Maybe 2 half days.
Oh, that's light work, bro.
Yeah, 2 half days, maybe 3. Nothing. Yeah, we're not looking at anything too crazy yet.
Are you not looking at any full days though?
No,
really?
Probably not. Yeah, probably. It all depends on also how his naps plan out. Because at the moment he's napping at a time where actually I don't know how it would work in nursery.
Well, I suppose the question that would then come to mind, and even for viewers, is going to be like, who's going to be looking after him when he's not at nursery?
So Priya will be working a few days, so she'll have a couple of days off, so she'll be around. Mum and dad are at home; they'll obviously be there to look after him. I'm working from home, so I'm there as well if he needs anything. So between us, honestly, to be honest, he's only going to nursery for that social interaction more than anything else. It's not kind of a childcare kind of, oh, we need someone to look after him, because mum and dad will more than happy
just for the
have him
experience.
5 days a week, right? They'll be able to have him all day, every day kind of thing, and he'll be fine. But I think it's just to say, actually go out.
He needs that interaction. No, 100%.
Needs it. Hasn't had it with anyone really. Actually, now more than ever, I'd probably say this is the time to get it. So, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, we've done like 3 full days and 2 half days. So unfortunately, Jaden's going to have a busy week, mate.
Wow. Well, is that set straight? Because you can't even. They always say like start off. You can't reduce, and you can increase will be a bit easier, but reduce is hard. So he's going to have.
And the thing is, if you start off too low and then you request the additional days and they don't have the facility or capability, you're screwed. Do you know what I mean?
That's
with my diary changing like minute by minute.
That's the point.
It's just not feasible to not cover myself off. Do you know what I mean? So we had to commit to a higher commitment.
But listen, he'll come out of it a lot better as well. He'll enjoy it, and he'll learn so much. I saw one of my mates the other day, and their daughter started nursery, and the stuff they say she picks up there really good for her.
The thing is, when they're seeing kids they're similar age to them and like size, they get egged on by each other, right? Because they're like, oh, if you can do that, I want to give it a try.
Yeah.
So no, like I say, it will be good for them. It's going to be difficult for us. Do you know what I mean? I even said to Reshma the other week, I was like, you've got to start waking up early. She was like, what do you mean? I don't start work until like August. I was like, yeah, but you start nursery like drop off from like a couple of weeks time. You know what I mean? I was like, you need to get into the habit of waking up early and making sure that you can go and do those stay-in days.
What times does nursery start?
8 a.m.
But okay, cool. The one we went to see was 7:30. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, but that's the time like that you can do drop off from. Do you know what I mean? They do like a morning session, afternoon session. I think one is 8 till 1, and then the other one's 1 till 6.
Yeah, I was like, we'll be there about 8, 8:15. 7:30 is a bit early. No need for that.
Did you manage to find one quite local to you then, walking distance, or is it a drive?
No, so we're still looking. One we went to was in Southgate.
Which is a drive for you.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't mind a slight drive. I don't mind 15-20 minutes either way.
I wouldn't like to do that drive at 9 a.m. in the morning or like during rush hour, mate.
That's why anything before 8, I think would avoid a lot of rush hour anyway. But at the same time, listen, if it means him going to a very good nursery, it's for his own benefit, to be fair. Look, it's only a few days, and it's only a few afternoons or few mornings, depending on which side we pick. Honestly, it's fine. It's something we're happy to do, just to make sure, he enjoys it and finds a good place for him to learn. Yeah,
man. Well, mate, I think we should call an early finish today, man.
Well, we managed to speak to each other for nearly an hour, which I think is a world record.
Well, dude, you said you were going to cut me off at like 30 to 45 minutes, innit? And I was just seeing how long it go on for.
I didn't mind speaking to you actually today. I'm quite surprised by that. Normally we have somebody else to break it up and we don't have to speak to each other for that long. So,
well, like I said, man, when we first started this journey, it was about talking about our experiences, what we're dealing with, and how we've dealt with it as well. Do you know what I mean? So I think a catch up with the two of us was overdue.
But, mate, look, I think we've, not gonna, I think it's been a very good journey so far. I think we've had 27 weeks, no longer than that, because a couple of episodes that were not in this count. Yep. So it's been 7-8 months we've been doing this now.
Yeah, mate.
So
It's been 7.5 months that we've been on this journey. Do you know what I mean? So it's going pretty smooth. And with the new branding, I think everything's aligning a bit more for Podcasts for Dads. We're getting a bit more direct in where we're going, and there's new things on the horizon. So it's just stay tuned, like, share, follow, leave a comment in the section down there. Bhav will get back to you on his return.
Of course, always. I'm always on my phone, ready to respond. But thank you guys for listening. Jay,
It's been a
good
pleasure,
evening,
brother.
and I'll see you next week.
Nice one. Enjoy your time. Have a great weekend, everyone. And it's been a pleasure to share this time with you once again. Good evening and good night.